camp, we have various roles for you, our cabin leaders, and we want to go over what those are. These roles are designed to make sure that we're meeting all of the needs of our campers and that we've essentially delegated tasks to make sure that you know what you're doing, you guys are on the same page, but this just helps us have a successful time at camp. So we have three main roles for our cabin leaders. If there's two of you, one of you can take two, the other one can take one. If there's three of you, then obviously you can just split into thirds. So in no specific order, our first role is our discussion facilitator. So this is during our cabin time or perhaps even our devotional time. Somebody who's designated to walk the campers through our questions and the time that we're going to be sharing together. So in cabin time, we will be providing you with all of the questions that you need to cover, even giving you agenda of really how to cover that. So cabin time should really look very similar between all of our cabins, assuming you guys are following along with those guidelines. So this person is just designated to make sure that you're taking care of that and you're leading it in the right direction. Doesn't mean the other person can't contribute. This is just to make sure that you have somebody, kind of like you need a leader of the group. So we're just asking that one of you pre-designate who that's going to be. And the reason we call it facilitator and not like group leader is because this is a time for the campers to share, for the campers to open up, and we want to make sure it's clear that this is not necessarily your time to preach at them. This is just your time to open up conversation for them to get to share what's on their heart. This is a really big part of the healing process through their trauma, and really to start to understand and conceptualize the gospel and how that impacts their life. So the second one is our schedule oversight. So recommended for somebody who's a little bit more of a timekeeper. This one is really important, although it seems a little bit, like, oh, I'm just a timekeeper. But it really makes a difference that we can get where we need to be on time. We have a really tight schedule at camp, and it starts to fall apart if groups continuously end up showing up late to the things that we're doing. So asking that you have somebody designated to make sure you know where your cabin needs to be at what times, and you're helping them get there during that time. So that one requires a watch. You all should bring a watch. That's just, and if you need to just go get like the $10 Walmart one, that's great to have too. But just make sure you have a watch. You're keeping time at camp, all of you. The third role is our meds captain. So we have quite a few medications that we distribute at camp to our campers. They will come in, they will check that in with the nurse before they even get to your cabin. So you will not see it or distribute it. You should not be doing that. And if you see a camper with a medication that had not been checked into the nurse, make sure you tell them that you have to go check that in with the nurse. But this person's role is essentially to make sure they get to the nurse when they need to. We will be giving you the times that you need to, so you'll have campers in your cabin and say 2 of the kids need to come at breakfast, 1 needs to come at lunch, and you've got 4 that come at nighttime meds. You will get that list. The nurses will share that with you. So just make sure you are getting your kids to the nurse to get their meds. That is your responsibility, not theirs. And we really want to make sure that we are meeting their needs. We don't want to forget to get them their meds. You will have problems, obviously, if they are missing out on these essential needs. So we've got somebody overseeing that. These roles need to be decided before camp. So at our in-person training, you're going to discuss, figure it out, and decide your roles. We will also have meetings for our cabin leaders during camp that you will get to go to. One will happen in the evening and the other will happen in the morning. And you either go to the evening one or the morning one after the kids go to bed or before they wake up. So this will also be decided before camp at your cabin leader training. You guys can decide who's going to go to which meeting. We will also be splitting off, so you'll have a designated cabin leader coordinator who will be your go-to person. They'll be checking in with you, and you'll get to share time with them at the meetings. We'll continue to just cover the day, but also saving more time for prayer and just for you guys to process and request different needs that you have. So just be aware of that you'll have those times to check in with all the other leaders and our staff at camp.